Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the credit game. Twice a day I come to you to show you how to raise your credit score, learn the game. It's all about the game, because the better you get at the game, the better you're gonna get at credit. And credit ultimately raises your credit score. And by raising your score, it allows you to do more things in life. So that's what I'm trying to do, right? The healthy balance is to raise the score, which is just a 3-digit number, which basically dictates your life. The higher I can get that score, the more freedom you're gonna have. You see the correlation? So my job is to raise this side so that freedom for you and your family increase dramatically. So today, I'm going to talk about 10 things, in my opinion, that will raise your credit score fast and things you can do about it, right? So let's start with some of the basics and let you know kind of a little bit of information on each one of them. So if we want to raise our credit score, and knowing the credit game, we would want to know what are some of the things that actually decrease the credit score so we can reverse engineer it. So if we knew that if we removed a collection, that our credit score would go up about 20 to 25 points. I want you to think about this for a minute. Removing collections, number one. If you remove a collection, 20 points, probably, somewhere around there, raises your credit score for every collection. If you have 5 collections and you remove those 5 collections, your credit score will then go up 100 points or thereabouts. This is the first way you can raise your credit score, is removing the negatives. Basic, simple, right? Number 2, lowering inquiries. Now, when you apply for a funding or credit card or car or whatever the case is, if you get denied for credit, what's going to happen is it's going to charge you 4 to 5 points. If you get approved, say you apply for a credit card, you get approved, they only whack out about a point or 2 off your credit report. It's a little different when you're lowering inquiries. So if we want to raise our credit score, number 2 would be to lower the amount of inquiries we have on our credit report. Give you an example. Let's say you have 20 inquiries. When you remove an inquiry, it's going to give you back about 2 points, maybe 1.5 points to 2 points per inquiry. Give you an example. You have 20 inquiries. You should see a 30-point increase in your score by removing the 20 inquiries. That is the second way to raise your credit score. A lot of stuff is just removal, okay? Let me share with you number 3. And number 3 is you need to add age. For a healthy credit report, you would like to see 8 years of average age. Now, of course, you can have a high credit score with less age, but what you want to do when you look at your credit report is see the age, the average age, not the age of each account, but look at the total average age. And what you want to do is get that to 8 years or higher. So if you can get that to go up, that's 15% of your credit score. And it's going to dramatically increase not only your credit score, but also your approval rate when you apply for things. When you're looking at your credit report, for number 4, you're going to be looking at revolving and installment. Okay. And all you want to do when you're looking at your credit report is go, do I have revolving? Now, revolving would be credit cards or a line of credit. Installment generally comes in loan, cars, or homes. And what that means is an installment means it's the same payment every month. So your car payment doesn't change, your house payment doesn't change, and your loan payment doesn't change payment. Revolving, like credit card, your payment changes depending on how much of the credit usage you're using. If you have a $10,000 credit card, you use $800 out of it. It's not going to be that much each month. Use $8,000 a month. Out of 10,000, you got a higher payment, right? So the payment fluctuates depending on how much you use. That's a revolving account. So what I want you to do is if you have revolving, but you don't have installment, I want you to seek getting installment accounts on your credit. If you have installment, but you don't have credit cards, then you need to get a mixture of both. So get the opposite of which one you don't have. The other way that you can raise credit score, and this is number 5, is consolidation. All right, so raising a credit score would be taking your revolving and moving it into one loan. It's called a consolidation loan. So let's say you have a bunch of credit cards and they're somewhat maxed. You can get one loan called a consolidation loan that essentially pays off all the revolving. Now, when you're looking at your credit report, the idea to understand is that revolving weighs harder on your credit score than installment. Let me give you an example. If you bought a $100,000 car, okay, you made one payment. Now you owe $99,000 left out of $100,000. So it's 99% utilized. Your credit score doesn't tank. But if you got a $100,000 credit card and you put $99,000 on it, your score would be like demolished. So revolving takes a lot bigger of a hit than installment when it comes to credit. So if you take your revolving credit cards and you say, hey, I want to get a consolidation loan, then what's going to happen is this loan is going to pay off all of those revolving credit cards. And essentially when that happens, your score is going to go through the roof in a good way. The downside to that is I don't want you to do a consolidation loan if you're not financially stable, because then what happens is if you get into a situation where you got to use the credit cards again, now you have the credit card payments, but you also have the loan payment as well from the consolidation, and then you'll have two payments. Okay, so only if you're financially stable would you go the option of consolidation, although it will raise your credit score dramatically if done right. Now, how about those late payments? 30-day, 60-day, 90-day. You need to remove those late payments. Okay, so you have what they call a hardship or a goodwill letter. Okay, now, generally a late payment is going to affect your score the most. We're talking about 35%. It's actually the biggest contributor to your credit score is your payment history. So, in order to remove the late payment, you're going to get back a lot. Let's say you get a 30-day and a 60-day late on one of your credit cards. You could lose probably 35%. Let's say if you were at a 700 credit score, you're at a 700 credit score and you get a late payment or two on your credit cards, you're talking about 35%. You're talking 200 points. You could be in the 500s, the early 500s, just by missing a payment or two. So in order to remove the late payments, what's going to happen to your score when you remove a late payment? Boom, your credit shoots through the roof. Now, how do we do that? How do we get those late payments off? It's called a hardship or a forbearance letter. Goodwill, forbearance, or a hardship letter. Okay, those letters are sent to the credit bureaus. Say, look, went through a hard time. COVID happened, lost my job, went through a divorce, whatever the case is, and I'm asking for forgiveness. It will never happen again. Now, can you have a bunch of late payments and then ask for forgiveness? No. But could you have one, possibly two, and say, hey, I went through a hardship? Yes. Okay, so it doesn't work for everybody, but it does work for those who go through a hardship. All right. Lowering utilization. This is 30% of your credit score. So let's say that you have 3 credit cards, a 500, a 1,000, and a 1,500. Okay. Now you got $3,000 in total credit. 3 different credit cards, 500, a 1,000, and a $1,500 credit card. What you want to do is you want to keep it at the magic number, and that's 2%. The 2% utilization. That means that you're only using 2% of the total available credit. Out of that 1,500, you only want to use 2% of the 1,500. Okay? If you're going to use more, just make sure you get it down to 2% before the closing statement date of that card. To find out your statement dates, just call the bank, back of the card. Every card has a different statement date. Just say, hey, what is my statement date? Mr. Jones, your statement date is the 18th of the month. Now, I don't care what you do up to the 18th of the month. You could max out the whole credit card up to 1,500. But just make sure that when you make your payment, it is before the closing statement date to bring it down to ideally 20%. But the magic number is if you can get it down to 2%. Okay? So if you got cards right now that are maxed out, use a snowball effect. Start with the lowest credit limit, pay that off completely. That $500 card you have, pay it off. Or bring it down to about 2%. Once you do that, you're going to have momentum. And you're going to work on the $1,000 credit limit. And you're going to get that one paid off eventually. So everything you save goes to paying off the credit card. Okay, pay off the first one first, get momentum, move up to the next highest credit limit, pay that one down to 2%, move up to the next one, pay that down to 2%. This trick has worked for thousands of my clients, and literally it's a game changer. Okay, that is the next way that you can raise your credit score, and I mean fast, because utilization plays 30% of your credit score, and if you can lower it down to 2% on all your cards, you're flying high with your credit score. So the other thing you can do, and this is number 8, is actually freeze the bureaus that most people don't know about. And this is more of a preventative side, so that way things cannot negatively affect you. So what you want to do is freeze your LexisNexis, your ARS, your SageStream, and your Innovis accounts. And generally you can do that just by putting in Google how to freeze LexisNexis, or how to freeze ARS, or how to freeze SageStream, or how to freeze Innovis. Those are the bureaus behind the bureaus. So the 3 major bureaus, you guys know Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. The other 4, most people don't know about. Public records are built off them, inquiries are built off them, collections. All these people are going to verify through those entities to make sure that you are who you are. And so if they can't verify the information because you froze those accounts, it makes it much harder for them to verify the accounts, and thus removing the collections or the late payments or the inquiries faster. Number 9, and that is this. In order to raise your credit score fast, you have to make 2 choices. 1, you're going to do it yourself. Everything I just shared with you, you could do yourself. Legally, I have to tell you that you as a consumer, according to the FCRA, built in 1970, this act was said, but you can do your own credit repair. Option 1, do your own. Option 2, get a professional to do it. Makes no difference other than time. The professionals, much, much faster. The individual, much, much slower. Why? Because they don't do it every day. They don't know the game. They don't know what to look for. And most people don't have time. But there are some people that say, you know what? I want to go through that list, watch this video 9,000 times, and I'm going to figure out how to do each one of those. Then there's some people that say, I value time over money, and I want the professionals to do it. I'm going to call the credit game. I want the professionals to do it fast. I want it done in 45 days with the Lambo program. Or I want it done in 90 days with the Maserati package. To get a credit score faster, you'd want to go the professional route. But again, you have both options. I want to give you that. Number 10, and lastly, this is it. It starts with a decision. Starts with, hey, I want to get my credit fixed. Not because you want a higher credit score, but because you know what it feels like to have a higher credit score. Do you know what it feels like for me to have an 829? Feels amazing. Why? Because I know that anything I apply for, I get approved. Can you say that for yourself, that everything you apply for, you're going to get approved for? If you can't say that, then you don't have freedom. Because when you go to apply, you're freaked out. Am I going to get approved or not? I don't have to think about that. I apply for a credit card, I get approved. I apply for a vehicle, I get approved. I apply for a home, I get approved. I want this, I want that, whatever it is, I get approved. That's called freedom. So you have to start with a decision and go, okay, cool. Mike, you know what? You're right. I want freedom. And I want to go through your list. And this is what I want the vendor to do. And if the vendor does the work that's in my program, they have the 2 programs, the Lambo and the Maserati. You pick which one. One's 45-day results, the other's 90-day results. You're also getting 75% off of Tradelines. To add the age, right? Let's go back to lowering utilization. A Tradeline solves the problem in 2 things. Add a high limit Tradeline with age. Why? Because what's going to happen? You're going to put a bunch of credit from the authorized user on your credit, and also it's going to put the age. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One Tradeline adds age and lowers utilization at the same time. You guys are getting 75% off the age Tradeline just by being a credit game member. You're also getting the entire education course that I built for myself, how I went from 505 to 829 and never looked back. Everything in between I've documented. I built it for me. I did not build it for you guys. You just happen to be listening and hearing about it today, but I want you to hear about it so you can change your life and your family's life. Make a decision. I want to change my life. I'm ready to rock and roll, and I want to get into one of your programs, or I want to do it myself. This video is the top 10 ways to raise your credit score, but it starts with you, because I can do a video, but I can't push you through a video to do what you know you need to do. First comes a decision. Decide, and then take action. 904-420-7772. If you want the help from the professionals, I'll hear from you. If you say, I'm going to go through the list and do it all myself, that's your choice. But I want to help you either way. Let me know in any way how I can help you. Give me a thumbs up on this video, guys, and post a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. I want to hear from you. But I like to hear from you so you can change your life for yourself and your family to live a better life with credit and finances. My name is Mike from The Credit Game. I love you guys. Take care.